Scherzo, the 52nd Doctor Who main range Big Finish release, first released in 4 parts across CD and download on the 14th of December 2003 and written by Robert Shearman. My adventures with Doctor Who and Big Finish can continue for a little bit longer. Now, following on from the end of the last 8th Doctor Big Finish story, Zagreus, the 8th Doctor has been somewhat reluctantly banished from Gallifrey by the Time Lord President Romana, and he has been banished to the Divergent universe. Now, unbeknownst to him, his companion, Charlie Pollard, voiced once again by India Fisher, she unknowingly snuck aboard the TARDIS via the back door, and the two of them are now in the Divergent universe, where they can hear each other, but actually their senses are slowly dulled each day. They get reset to their limits every so often, just to make sure that they don't die, but for a large portion of the time they can't see anything, they can't smell anything, they can hear very little, they can't taste much, and their sense of touch is reduced. As in this Divergent universe, it almost seems blank, like it'll be white for large portions of the day, but other portions they're just in complete darkness. And I say day as well, but they really have no concept of time. So, left alone with seemingly nothing to do but to try and find out where they are and how to get out of it, the two of them have to walk. But at the same time, there's no time in the Divergent universe, so they're pretty much just walking in a straight line hoping to find something. But throughout all of this, they soon discover they may not be alone, as a creature seemingly made up of sound seems to be interacting with them. And it seems to use the sounds that they had previously done in order to try and communicate with them, including the sound of the TARDIS, which it first heard when they arrived, when Charlie just to kind of break up the boredom of being in the Divergent universe, starts humming to herself Frere Jacques. It uses that as well, and it uses random words to try and communicate with them. But the Doctor and Charlie soon discover there's a lot more going on in this universe than they actually think, or they actually even know about, including they're going through it, in a sense, a form of rapid evolution. As towards the start, in order to keep each other company, they hold each other's hands, but then as time goes on, and they've been there for God knows how long, they soon discover they can't let go. Their hands are fusing together into one creature, and the Doctor's heartbeats are really their heartbeats all in one. It's quite a sinister story, but at the same time, I do think it kind of works. I think ultimately this reminds me of the 12th Doctor 2015 Series 9 episode, Heaven Sent. The only two voice actors actually involved in this particular story are Paul McGann and India Fisher. And sometimes, for pure simplicity, that just works. I mean, like with Peter Capaldi's Heaven Sent, there were only really 3 characters in that story, 4 if you count the boy at the end. The 12th Doctor, Clara in like one scene where Jenna Coleman was actually brought in to give a line, the rest of the time you just saw at the back of her head, and the Veil. And they managed to make that into one of the best episodes of New Who, and I think they did a similar thing here with Big Finish with the 8th Doctor. It's only 2 characters, but just listening to them effectively really walking through a void, it works. It's rather sinister, especially when you find out how they're being kept alive. Like, partway through, they find kind of dead creatures about the place, and the Doctor soon realises that in order for him and Charlie to survive, they have to eat the creatures, which Charlie is a little reluctant to do because, well, it's still a living creature and it's raw, so why would we eat it? It's like, because we have to, because otherwise we don't know a sense of time in this place. We could have gone months without eating. We could have gone days without eating. And basically, if we don't eat now, we'll starve to death. And so eventually, I won't spoil it here, but when they discover what they're actually eating, what it actually is, it's horrifying to consider, but at the same time, the silence of the situation, it's a desperate situation, and ultimately, I do think this is one story where less is more. It's a story about what you do and what you have to do when you're truly alone. And I honestly do think it does show more of the development of the Doctor and Charlie's relationship. Well, at the start I just kind of gathered them as best friends. This story truly shows how much they have grown to care for one another, and even though it does show moments where they do snap at each other, it works, and how they will ultimately work it out. I do think this is a beautiful story to listen to, but at the same time it's quite haunting. And you know what? Just have a listen for yourself and make your own opinions on it. I just think it's beautiful. But this was only the start of new adventures for the Doctor and Charlie, and soon, in the very next story, Crew to the Chromon, which I believe is the next one up, we would meet another new companion for the 8th Doctor, another one he mentioned, Keris. What do I think of that? Well, we'll have to wait and see. Anyway, until next time, see ya.